and they really fucking matter. There's like 4 things that matter, and they really fucking matter. I mean, objectively, I mean, you should care, especially you, if you thought about it for 5 fucking minutes.
Welcome to episode 43 of the Out of Voices podcast. We are your hosts, Keem and Esme.
Woo-hoo.
Esme is back, y'all.
Yay! I'm back. I mean, I was around, but I wasn't recording.
Yeah. Esme was out running a mile or a bunch of miles.
Running several miles. Running 13.1 miles. I ran a half marathon, guys. It was awesome. Yeah, it was great. I did good. I managed to not hurt myself, which is, an improvement on my previous half marathon.
That is a feat.
Also, I did not fall down the stairs the night before, unlike the last time I ran a half marathon.
That is, yeah. This is the kind of person you're dealing with here.
Yes, I fell down half a flight of stairs and then ran a half marathon, during which I almost broke my ankle. It was a whole adventure. It was great.
My God.
This one was great, though. This one felt really, really good. I didn't ever hurt myself. It was awesome. Anyway. But now, here I am again, recording this podcast with you all. For you all, I suppose. With Keem and for you all.
I needed Esme back. I had to go solo last time. It was difficult. No, it wasn't that bad. Mm-hmm. And apparently, in the meantime, winter has come to the United States. It's apparently snowing everywhere, except where Esme is.
Yeah, it's very nice here. Actually, it's a little chilly, but not too bad. There's no snow. It's sunny outside. It's really beautiful here, guys. It's really beautiful.
Well, it's a goddamn winter wonderland up here right now.
I mean,
Brooklyn.
Welcome. It is December. Frankly, I'm surprised you haven't had any significant snow before now, but okay.
Yeah. Heck, I get used to it. Speaking, all right, and I know I told you, but I got to tell other people. Speaking of Brooklyn and New York, I experienced one of the craziest experiences I had up here so far.
Oh.
On the subway yesterday.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So I went out to up to Manhattan to do some shopping. I went to the Harlem Market, get some things, for Christmas. And so I got on the subway coming back, and it was packed. Like, it was the end of lunch traffic, and it was packed. And I had my earbuds in, and I don't know what set it off, but I hear a dude go, "Hey man, what the fuck you looking at? If you gonna fight me, if you looking at me, we gonna scrap." And I try not to even look up, and I didn't hear anything else from anyone else. Just this guy going off like, "Oh, that's what I thought. You a punk. You ain't gonna fight. Don't look at me if you ain't gonna fight." So already,
oh Jesus!
Already, this was a situation that was getting out of control for no apparent reason.
Mm-hmm.
Then came the crazy part. And pardon my language, I don't like using this word.
No, don't use it, Keem.
Well,
don't.
How else am I? If I say the F word,
say.
the second
what
F
I always do is I always say a slur used to talk about gay men. It starts with an F.
that is a cumbersome explanation.
Okay.
It's
not your word, Keem. You're straight.
How about this freaky alien genotype? I'll do that one. Freaky alien genotype.
Don't think that makes it better, but okay. Or not. It doesn't make it less confusing. Anyway, you know the word we're talking about. You know the word we're talking about.
If you can piece it together, you got it.
Yes.
But he says, He goes, that's why you're a freaky alien genotype. That's all y'all niggas with glasses are freaky alien genotypes. And the jump in logic there blew my mind. He went on to say that y'all don't even need glasses. The only reason people wear glasses is to look at men. Matt,
I mean, that's one of the main reasons that I wear glasses. The other reason is so that I can, drive safely and also read without giving myself a headache.
he then went on to say glasses aren't real. They're just masks to hide freaky alien genotypes.
Okay. I'll buy that.
So luckily at this next stop, he got off and everybody let out a collective sigh of relief. But my God, like I said, the jump in logic blew my mind. And it could only be so freaky alien genotypes like men.
Uh-huh.
So they have to look at men. I'm just connecting dots here.
Yes.
So if you look, since there are pretty much men everywhere, if you look at a man, then you are a freaky alien genotype if you're a man.
Obviously.
So obviously vision makes you a freaky alien genotype. So if you use glasses to improve your vision, that's what you are.
So can we talk about, though, where you get this freaky alien genotype thing? Because I have no idea. Like, I understand, but I have no idea where it comes from. How did that come to be?
It's a joke from Dragon Ball Abridged.
Okay.
DBZ
It's a nerd
Abridged.
thing. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a nerd thing. So
It's a nerd thing.
Somebody's gonna get it. Also, if DBZ Abridged, hilarious series on YouTube, go check it out. But
Gotcha.
yeah, that's where it comes from. But no, it's like obviously the only way you can be straight is to be blind. That's it.
Yes, obviously.
Logic is perfect. Boom. Oh my God. Pardon my French, but these Brooklyn niggas crazy.
Welcome to the city.
My God. Anyway, let's get into our news segment after that little story.
Let us do, please.
Would you like to start or should I?
I will, I think.
Okay.
So, I think that you, again, I say this every week, right? I think that you would probably have to be living under a rock to have avoided this news by this point in the week. But I just wanted to comment on how it is a victory. It is definitely a victory that Michael Slager, who is the former police officer who shot Walter Scott, was sentenced to 19 to 24 years in federal prison for second-degree murder. Which, given the ridiculously horrifying number of officers who are not held accountable at all for killing unarmed people, this is definitely a victory. Like, I am a little sad that it wasn't longer, but I suppose if it was second-degree murder, like, that's not a life in prison thing, but whatever. The point is that this officer is being held accountable for killing an unarmed person, which they should be, right? You should not be able to shoot someone who has no weapons and to walk away without serving any time, without any kind of accountability. In some cases, they go back to their jobs. Like, that's not okay. This finally feels like maybe there's going to start to be a turnaround in some kind of in holding officers accountable when they do shit like this, right?
I do love your hopefulness.
I am extremely hopeful. I'm a very optimistic person. Right. Either, oh wow, you're rubbing off on me, Keem. I was going to say either this is the beginning of a turnaround in how we treat these cases, or this is now going to be a token case for everybody who says, no, but we do hold police officers accountable. See also this case, but it doesn't matter. That's not, sorry. But it's not applicable for this case that we're talking about now, but it doesn't, I don't know. They're going to use it as an example to point to say, no, we hold them accountable when they need to be held accountable, right? Obviously, see? But anyway.
I am rubbing off on you. I didn't
You
even
are.
have to say it this time. I didn't have to say it this time.
I know. That I don't think that's a good thing.
Yeah, could be. I don't know. I will say the time, like, I do think it's good that at least one time you get to see somebody being held accountable. Also, with that time, man, they're going to beat the shit out of him in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's going to spend his time in prison unless they put him in isolation, and the whole time they're going to beat the hell out of him. And while I do not approve of violence, okay, I take that back. I approve of violence sometimes. It makes me feel a little good knowing he's gonna take some ass whoopings while he's serving out his sentence.
Yeah.
But that's just me. For your more vengeance-minded people like myself. Because yeah. Anyway, anything else to add to that?
I don't think so. I'm just, I'm glad that we finally have a case of someone being held accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Right. There have been far too many. There have been far too many who walked out with no anything after killing somebody who was unarmed, who didn't provoke the violence. Like there's been way too many. Like and so much apologetics about it, and it's absolutely infuriating. But we finally have a high profile one that was actually held accountable. So
I wonder how many death threats that judge got. I wonder how many death threats that judge got for even putting that verdict, that judgment through.
I don't know. This is a fucked up world we live in, isn't it?
It truly is. Truly fucked up.
Yeah.
Speaking of truly fucked up, another story that honestly slipped under the radar. It was not that big of news, which it kind of should have been, considering. So, few weeks back, I think like sometimes last month, some Democratic members of the House brought articles of impeachment against, you guys know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
He who shall not be named.
The Cheeto.
Orange Voldemort.
I like that one. No, I feel like that gives him too much credit.
Yeah, because Voldemort, did stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they brought articles of impeachment against him, citing that he had committed high misdeeds, including, but not exclusively, stoking and creating, continuing to create racial and racial inequality, and all this other stuff, which is an impeachable offense. These are impeachable offenses. In the House on Wednesday, I think it was last Wednesday, the House voted unanimously. That is, Democrats and Republicans voted unanimously, 364 to 58, to table the articles of impeachment. When questioned, Nancy Pelosi said, "This is not the time to consider impeachment." With that being said, weekly, you hear nothing from the Democratic Party but how the Trump administration is destroying the country, how they're destroying people's rights, destroying people's lives, making us horrible in the international world, ruining our credibility with the rest of the world. How Trump is going to push us into a depression. All these horrible things about how Trump and the Trump administration they're destroying the country. Yet, when you have an opportunity to do something, you say, "This is not the time."
Yeah.
Obviously. When is the time? Like when the streets are on fire and people are being shot and being killed. That the time? Well, I mean, California's already on fire, so
yeah.
Or what about Puerto Rico, who has been completely forgotten and destroyed by a hurricane? With those people dying, is it not the time? With all the rights violations and this fucking crazy ass tax plan that's running through right now? But no. It's not the time. And I also like to bring up, and like if you really want a good look at the Democratic Party and this whole process in the House, when it was brought up, all the offenses the president has committed that are impeachable offenses, there were no arguments on the merits of those claims. Everyone said, no, we're not debating whether he did these things or not, or he's doing these things or not. It's just not the time. And honestly, I know what it is. Like I know, and this is why I say fuck the Republican Party all the time. Like, that's a given. Fuck all y'all. All right. But for those of you who consider the Democratic Party to be some kind of savior that's going to free us from this bullshit ass Trump administration, you need to look at these assholes and what they are doing as well. They're not trying to help. They want the thing that they've always wanted. They want power. They want the control. They want the influence. The same thing the Republican Party want. This is not a battle. This is not a fight for the American people to them. This is not a fight to help people or to not help people for them. It is a fight for power for them. Yeah. And the Democratic strategy with not going through with impeachment, the Democratic Party strategy is to let this administration continue to do harm, continue to do the things that they're doing, continue to bring the American people against them. You can look at the approval ratings of this administration right now. It's in the 20s, which is...
Is it all the way that low? Is it all the way that low now? The last I heard, it was like 32.
It had bopped down to 29.
Okay.
But it's in, like... So, but it's like I said, it's in the 20s. The approval rating is stupidly low, like ridiculously low. And they want that to continue. They want people to continue to be disgruntled, to be angry, because that allows them in 3 years to walk into the White House, to walk into the elections and win.
Yeah. having done nothing meaningful to solve any of these problems. They're going to platform completely rhetorically on opposition of the things that have people so worked up right now. They're not going to do anything to fix it. They're just going to talk about how terrible it is.
Right.
And we're going to hand them everything.
Right.
Based on that.
We're gonna give them back the reins. And this is another narrative that also keeps coming up when people in the Democratic Party going, guys, we just have to wait. We just have to wait 3 years. We just have to wait 3 years. They're actively telling people to not fight back, but to wait, to be angry and wait.
Yeah.
They're telling people to suffer, talk about suffering, but do nothing about it. Because if we wait 3 years, then we're going to come in and save the day.
Yep. Totes.
And I mean, that's also what the Trump campaign did. They came in as like, oh, you're suffering. We're going to come in and save the day. They're playing us.
Yep.
They don't care. People, and this is just this. What I just said is not just my personal opinion. That's what I see is true. But this is my personal opinion. People, stop putting your faith in these parties. We have to stop putting all our belief, all our faith in the Republicans and Democrats because they don't care about you. They don't. Mm-hmm. Maybe at a local level where local politicians interact with their communities, that means something. But national and upper state levels, these people do not care about you. They do not care about the average American person. They don't care what you're going through. Take it back. They only care about what you're going through if it benefits them. And they will let you go through more stuff. They will let you suffer. They will let you die. They will let things continue to happen to you and people like you if it garners them support and power. Mm-hmm. So we have to take our faith away from this system and come up with something else. And second thing, this is my second thing. Don't just resist. Revolt. You make the moves.
Yep.
Don't wait. Make the moves. Be the people who are out there going, I'm not just going to sit here and take it. I'm not just going to wait it out. I'm not just going to resist what's happening to me. I'm going to fight back against it.
Yep.
Push, damn you, push. So I will end this with fuck the Republicans and Democrats. Fuck you too. Like,
yes.
I'm done with all of you. Yeah. Anyway, is there anything else we want to add to this news section?
I don't think so.
All right. Let's move on into our topic segment after a brief musical interlude from an artist that is a friend of mine. I went to college with this person, followed their music for years and years. Silas Reed, everyone. I hope you enjoy.
Okay, gold chain on with my all black dress. Don't give me that girl, who you playing with? Yeah, all black bourbon with the windows on 10. Yeah, young rich nigga, oh I get it how I live. Yeah, gold chain on with tan, yeah. Young rich nigga, oh, I get it how I live, yeah.
And welcome back, everyone. We are here to talk. So, I am currently studying for exams. So, my mind is just dead. Okay. So, with the talk of studying higher learning and dead minds, we're going to talk about the current uh, movement of anti-intellectualism in this country.
You say current movement, but there is pretty strong evidence that this has been that anti-intellectualism was actually has been part of the fabric of American discourse for the majority of the history of our country.
Okay, see that can be debated,
Okay, I think we might debate it.
but because you have to remember the early parts of our revolutionary times and up until like probably about mid 1800s, you were coming off the Enlightenment.
Okay, but you
This is
remember
Enlightenment.
that I said the majority of the history of our country, not the entirety of the history of our country. Up until the
I think
mid
about-
1800s, if the tide
think-
changed in the mid 1800s, that still makes up the majority of the history of our country.
I think about half.
I mean,
I would argue-
when do you begin the history of our country, though?
I would start revolution up.
Yeah, so from the founding of our country to the mid 1800s is about 75 years, and from the mid 1800s to present day is more than that. I can math.
Well,
120 odd years.
Honestly, I would go to honestly around to after the Civil War. Honestly, mostly because they were still justifying the whole thing of slavery with pseudo intellectualism. So
Okay. I will defer to you because you have studied quite a lot more American history than I have.
right. Anyway, but yes, we're going to talk about anti-intellectualism. We live in a society where really it's. And I guess I honestly should jump into this issue I'm about to bring up later, but it's so weird to me that we're in a country that says go to school, learn as much as you can, keep going, go to college, do all that. But as soon as you do that stuff, people will look out upon you. And that's insane.
I mean, here's the thing, though, is I feel like, especially in the last, 30 years or so, the push for higher education isn't actually a push for, increasing knowledge. I don't think it's actually a push for increased knowledge, right? Like, not learning for learning's sake. I think it's actually a push for learning something that's quote unquote useful. Right, which feeds into like how we make fun of people who go to school for the humanities, but we don't mock or deprioritize education. Like if somebody goes to school to be an engineer or goes into computer science, we might mock that as nerdy, but we don't mock it the same way that we do somebody who is continuing higher education for history or philosophy or literature. Right, because those things are not useful. So they have less tangible benefits. Right, those things are extremely important to society and to culture and to all of that, but they're not tangibly useful like engineering is.
Right.
And so we deprioritize it and we make fun of it.
Of course. Oh, that actually reminds me that the talk of history actually just enlightened me to something that I didn't think of. So I will say the anti-intellectual movement is more feverish today than in most of American history. And I think that came with the ability for most groups to access education. Especially higher education. Because with the GI Bill post World War II, one of the things were so these young men coming back from World War II should get education, should get the ability to go get these new jobs that have suddenly appeared post war. So there was a big push for young men to go to college, young white men to go to college.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and honestly, that's kind of where we get the idea that college is a standard part of American society. Like before then, most people didn't go to college. Like the majority of people did not go to college. College was something that most people couldn't afford. They didn't go.
Yeah.
You went and got a job. But after the GI Bill, the narrative became, okay, every young man should go to college. Every young man should go and whatever. And after that, so in the 60s and 70s with the different civil rights movements, and I'm saying like the scope of civil rights movements, you started seeing desegregation, so more black people could go and get education.
Yeah.
You saw more women going to college. You saw other races going to, so college began to open up to all of them, at least most of American society. And college started becoming, and this honestly, because of the GI Bill as well, college became much cheaper for people to go to. So, but when that happened, that's when the shift started to occur. Like that's when it's like, oh, everybody can get this now.
Yeah.
And when it's no longer exclusive, it's a lot less valuable to American society.
Yeah.
But anyway, but it's the anti-intellectualism just, I know I'm all over the place right now, but it just irks me. Like I have been, so growing up, my mom always told me that, she said the one thing America fears the most is a black man with a book.
Mm-hmm.
So of course I made that my mission to be as intelligent as possible. But
suddenly I feel like I know you a little bit better.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, that one statement pretty much set out where I was going academically.
Yeah.
But in the past couple years, I've had to defend myself from people belittling me for knowing things.
Yeah.
Or wanting to know things. I had literally a few months ago, somebody told me that my opinion wasn't valid because the words I used were too big.
Yeah. Which is some bullshit.
It's like I'm somehow less than you because my vocabulary is large. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, and that's yeah.
And see, and I'll say this, we also tend to think that anti-intellectualism is a conservative, generally conservative mindset that liberals liberals and progressives tend to value intelligence, value intellectualism, because you always get the picture of the hoity-toity liberal intellectual going to Harvard bullshit.
Yeah.
But I've started to experience it, like just as much in liberal circles.
Yeah.
Especially in regards to looking at issues from a whole picture instead of a singular point.
Yeah.
Like for instance, it wasn't even an argument. I was talking about how misogynistic attitudes formed historically in the black community.
Yeah.
Because everything comes from something. There's history behind everything. Nothing just is.
Yeah.
That's just not how it works. Nothing just is. Everything evolves. Everything comes from a certain point. I was talking in I think it was one of the Black atheist groups, about how these attitudes formed and how we should be knowledgeable about how they form to know how to stop it, how to change it. And I was told that information was irrelevant, that knowing that information was that just by knowing and searching out that information, it was excusing bad behavior.
Sure.
Like I said, that information is irrelevant. That I was. It even got as far to somebody claimed that I was being misogynistic for even knowing it, and that's insane to me. Like, and I've discussed this with Esme before. If you have a disease, you don't just treat a symptom of the disease. You find out what caused the disease and you treat the disease. And like I said, I get this a lot, and like I get this even more, like more so in liberal circles, where it's one note, like everything is one note. When there's an issue, it's only one thing. There's only one way to solve it. How, like, information about that issue, how it forms, that's not important. The only thing that's important is how that issue exists now, and the one thing somebody says can fix it. And nothing works like that.
Yeah.
Like, no, there are no problems in the world that you can go, I have the answer. This is gonna fix it all.
Yep.
That's not how anything works. But the moment you try to work out stuff, the moment you try to learn more about issues, the moment you try to come up with solutions that aren't one note, that solutions that encompass the whole view of an issue, you become the enemy.
Yeah.
It boggles the mind.
Yeah.
You still with me?
Yeah, I am. I'm just trying to think, which is difficult for me today.
There we go. It's going back to thinking it's difficult.
Oh, shush.
Like, okay, go for it.
No, you go. I was
going to say, going back to my story in the news segment. Black folks, and I'm gonna speak for us because I know us. Man, we have a weird relationship with intellectualism. Because in the black community, like you will hear, like, go to school, go to college, be successful. Because like that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to bust up through there and be successful. And then on the other side, you get, well, you're a black dude, so if you're really not into sports or music, you can't really do anything else or become a preacher. Or, man, all that information you learn is just the white man's book learning.
Yeah.
I got told that one time. We were discussing evolution at work at a job I was at, and I was explaining evolution to a coworker because this was in Mississippi. You know, honestly, a lot of people in Mississippi don't know how evolution works.
Yeah.
But I was explaining it, and someone literally told me, and I quote, "I don't know why you in here using the white man's science. Science is just what they use to tell black people that they aren't great." And I was like, how? What? It went into it like that. This conversation went into like devolved into just pure insanity afterward. And the pure insanity brings me back to like the next point about black people and anti-intellectualism. Man, any knowledge you learn that contradicts Christianity, oh boy, oh boy, you explain like quantum physics and like the Big Bang Theory to some people and don't say God did it. Man, you done fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even Noah. I got into a discussion about how the biblical flood didn't happen. Like, we have no evidence that it happened. Yeah. There were people around that actually kept records. Because the Bible does give a timeline, which is hilarious. The Bible gives a timeline of when things happened, and we know of people that existed before that timeline happened, and those people kept records. And we have things like geology and fossil records and strata.
Oh, but don't you know, Keem, that fossil records are forgeries to undermine Christian faith?
They fucking literally in my fucking high school, we had somebody tell us that fossils and dinosaur bones were put in the ground by Satan to test the faith of Christians.
That holds up.
What the actual shit? So Lucifer, the devil, spent years going underground creating bones of fake dead animals, and then waited for centuries till somebody dug it up. It's like, excellent, now I can test their faith.
Yep.
What the fuck?
Yep.
And people legit, like, there are so many people who legitimately believe that, who legitimately believe fossils and fossil records were put in the ground by the devil. Even radioactive decay, I've been told, is made up.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
That's another reason I don't like, if you're a religious person, that we believe what we believe, and that's fine. And as long as you don't treat people like shit for believing what they believe, I'm good. If you want to believe some dumb shit, you can believe some dumb shit. But don't get on me for not believing dumb shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's like it just, I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. And religion is a big factor in modern anti-intellectualism, which is funny because for a good deal of American history, religion was the source of knowledge. Like, the religious institutions were where you got the books. They gave you the books.
Yeah.
They told you to go out and learn, because that's how you were supposed to draw closer to God, by learning.
Yeah.
And it seems we have gotten so far from that. I've seen churches that said an educated mind is the devil's playground.
Which makes no sense, but okay.
I mean, but it's, when it comes to like the religious portion, it's, once again, it's all about control of the minds of a populace. If people, like, at the place we are as a society, the more you dig into history, science, all these other fields of study, many things of, especially like old school religion, like the Old Testament for Christianity, or like mythological tales.
Yeah.
That's what they are. Those religious mythologies, it becomes obvious that they are not real, that they're stories.
Yeah.
And if you start questioning those stories, you may start questioning religion, and a lot of people do.
Yep.
I mean, that's one of the main reasons there is a large movement away from organized religion, is because we have access to so much information. We learn so much that those tenets that we were taught, or are taught, that, well, this is real, this is what happened, we know, well, that can't be right. That's not true.
Yeah.
And churches are pushing so hard against that. They're trying to get people in, so they're trying to cut people off from knowledge.
Yep.
The Christian, and I mean, we look at the Christian right, and honestly, the Republican Party, what they're trying to do with education. They're literally trying to make education harder to get. That creates a populace that is easier to control.
Yeah, if you can convince people that things that they learn and like history and science and philosophy are not only not true, they're the work of the devil, then you have created a group of people that will believe literally anything that you tell them because they believe that you are the authority. And
Right.
if you can convince people of that, you can get anything from them, including their money and
Right.
their time and everything, right? You can get them to go to war for you.
You can play them however you want.
Exactly.
And I mean, I hate to harp on it, but I mean, look at the current administration. Another major component of this whole campaign that they ran, and major component of the actions they're doing now, is this anti-intellectualism, is keeping knowledge away from people. The fake news, of course, telling them that the knowledge they're getting isn't real.
Yeah.
And then giving them, I look at Alex Jones. Alex Jones is a madman. He is a absolute fucking madman. The things he says makes no sense.
Yeah.
He has millions of followers. Just people believing nonsense. It even came out in court when he was trying to get custody of his children that he was doing a character.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's playing stuff. Like the things he says aren't real by his own admission. But so many people are been told, hey, don't believe that like actual information, believe this because that other stuff is fake.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, once again, the president is constantly, everything you hear against me is fake. Everything is fake. And people believe it because I have a friend who is a libertarian. Love him to death.
Yep.
Salt of the earth. And let's say salt, I meant scum. Scum of the earth.
Don't be mean to your friend.
I'm just playing. Love you. He's not going to listen to this, but
Yeah, that's true. He's not going to listen to this. He gets enough of you ranting at him. Anyway.
Right. He's a good guy. Kind of backwards at times, but he's a good guy.
Very nice.
But he's constantly
a very
sharing.
Nice guy.
Yeah, very nice guy. But he's constantly sharing things on social media, constantly, and even like in real life, saying things that aren't real. Like he finds it on the internet, he puts it out there and says, I can't believe this is happening, or blah, blah, blah. And they're completely not real.
Yeah.
And a simple click, a simple Google search would have told him these things aren't real. This isn't true. And me and another friend of mine have harped on him many, many, many times.
So many times.
And my other friend, he's more insulting. I'm just like, dude, you're my friend.
Kind of a dick.
Don't. Yeah, he's a dick. But I'm more like, I want to be helpful because this is my friend. I want him to have the proper, I want him to have the proper information. 2, I want him to not appear to be an idiot when something can easily just be press a button, look up the right information. That's it. But it shows the mindset of so many Americans that the right information isn't what's important. It's the information that you get. And I know I'm talking a lot, and I'm sorry.
I know. That's fine. Talk, please.
It reminds me of something I've been saying a lot recently. It's that be careful of what you take in, of what you consume. We're in a social media age.
Yep.
Where and the internet age, where you're just giving a influx of information and discerning what information is real, what is true, and discerning what is not true and what is fake is difficult because you are bombarded with information.
Yep.
To the point where it kind of becomes static. truth and fact and what's real and what's not becomes almost non-existent. And we don't take out the time to go and search out what is truth and what is fact. We just accept the information given to us. I think who wrote 1984?
George Orwell, dude.
George Orwell, right?
Dude.
See, here's the problem. I get Orwell and Huxley.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, I don't like. Okay, I'll buy that. Sorry, that was really judgmental just then.
No, it's fine. But see, I've read. I love Huxley. Huxley's one of my favorite authors. I've read Orwell too, but I still always get them mixed up. Mm-hmm. So that's why I said which one. But Orwell's like vision of a dystopic future, this is what he said, was not a future where information was limited, but where information was overwhelmed, where you were just given so much. And that's the other side of that's the almost the other side of anti-intellectualism that we're getting now. It's not that they're withholding information or keeping people from being intellectual, from keeping people from learning stuff. They're just blotting out the actual information with junk, with mess.
Yeah.
I mean, we shouldn't be in a country right now where more and more people are being convinced that the earth is flat.
Oh, dude, have you gone on any of these flat earth websites? They are bonkers. It's hilarious.
It's insane. And you would think this was some fringe, like off the wall movement type of thing, that it's just a bunch of stupid people being just dumb.
Yeah.
But no, it is growing at an alarming rate. And these flat earth societies, it's not even just the earth is flat. It's a myriad of conspiracies that go along with it.
Yeah.
That people believe. They just believe. There's no proof of what they're saying.
Yeah.
And there is actual proof. There's been actual proof for thousands of years that what they're saying is not true. But their reply is, "Oh, don't believe what those intellectuals say."
Yeah.
They're trying to trick you.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about the rapper B.O.B. on the before.
Yeah, we have.
B.O.B.'s a goddamn idiot. Like, B.O.B. used to be one of my favorite rappers. I still listen to some of his older music. His newer music is kind of garbage, but I digress. But he's a goddamn idiot. And he has been one of the major proponents of these flat earth theories and trying to raise thousands of dollars to prove his theories about how the earth is proof his facts, quote unquote, about how the earth is flat. Mm-hmm. When we have pictures of the earth, like literal pictures, you can go outside and look at the curvature of the earth.
Yeah.
You look into it's like, oh, the horizon kind of curves. I wonder, oh wait. But no, that's an illusion.
Uh-huh.
That's what I've heard. That's an illusion.
It totally is. Totally is.
One of the funniest things I've seen in the past few weeks was there was I think it was the Flat Earth Society was talking about Mars.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
And talking about Mars as like Mars as the sphere, and Elon Musk goes, now go back and read what you just said slowly.
Yeah.
It's like you just said Mars was a sphere, the other planet Mars, the planet that is like Earth, but the Earth is flat, Mars is not.
Yeah. Yeah, and whoever it was that was responding to that, I saw that. He was like, so tell me again why Mars is a sphere, but the Earth is flat. And somebody like replied to him and said, well, we have plenty of evidence to suggest that Mars is a sphere, but we have no evidence at all to suggest that the Earth is a sphere.
Like,
I was just like, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck?
oh my God. And by the way, that like the person that was saying the stuff to them was Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's Elon Musk.
like billionaires, one of the smartest people ever.
Yes.
Like it's, and look, they truly believe it. Digging further into that, they literally said all the other planets are spheres.
Mm-hmm.
We have proof that all the other planets are spheres.
Earth is the only
Just
one that's flat because we're special.
Yes, and it's a flat disc.
Yes.
We're on a giant hockey puck.
Yep. Totes.
Also, oh my God, this talk about stupid people believing stupid things. I heard this morning that the reason the Titanic did not hit an iceberg. They said that the Titanic was sunk purposefully because because the Titanic sailed to the edge of the earth and saw it, and they couldn't let that information get back to the populace. Someone said this seriously. Somebody said this seriously with with stay woke, don't believe the lies, teach the truth. That's like, I thought it was a joke. I thought somebody was just memeing and being funny.
What?
No.
What the actual fuck? I don't even understand what is going on right now. Oh my God.
And it said that ice cannot this is proven because ice is not hard enough to scratch steel.
Excuse me? Pretty sure it probably is, but okay.
But see, this is the, like, these are things we know. Like these are not like,
Yeah.
it's we've reached a point where not even just like hoity-toity college, whatever, post-college, expert in your field, like intellectualism is looked at wrong. General knowledge,
Yeah.
things we know generally,
Oh Christ.
is not acceptable.
I don't understand our life right now.
I mean,
What is wrong
like Bill
with
O'Reilly?
people?
It's like Bill O'Reilly a few years ago. His proof of God is that we didn't know why the sky was blue.
Okay.
God made the sky blue.
Uh-huh, sure.
You learn in the second grade science in any public school
Yeah.
that the sky is blue because the sun reflects the water droplets in the air.
Yeah.
6, 7-year-olds know this.
Yep.
But that information, that basic knowledge, is looked at as contradictory because God made the sky blue.
Uh-huh.
Fucking magnets, how do they work? Mirrors.
We're going to have to link to that in the program notes.
Oh my God.
You know that, right?
Yeah. ICP, baby. Fucking ICP. That's what we're slowly becoming. We're slowly becoming juggalos.
Yes.
My God,
Yep.
this is insane.
Yes.
By the way, that Titanic thing was another black person. Was one of these Hotep motherfuckers too. And this was another one of those. This is the white man's trickery situations.
Yes.
Because in ancient black people knew the earth was flat, but the white man wants us to think it's round for reasons.
Reasons. Yep. That holds up.
The nefarious schemes of the white man.
I mean, white men are pretty devious.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the white man does have nefarious schemes.
Yes.
Not arguing that one. Y'all some dastardly motherfuckers. However,
Yes.
that ain't one of them. And these things also, like the push away from actual information to legitimizing of false information. I mean, that's what's propping up. That's what's propping up these flat Earth societies. That's what's propping up the Trump administration.
Yep.
It's propping up the alt-right movement. All of these things that we're experiencing right now that seem insane are all propped up by the idea that actual facts, actual information, actual things you learn are false.
Yeah.
But fringe, made up, completely bullshit ideas that basic information can tell you that these things are not true. These things are not real. Those things have been legitimatized. That a word?
No, legitimized.
Legitimized. Thank you.
Welcome.
Fuck.
One of the many services I provide.
Yeah, guys, my brain is dead. Okay. Man, if you guys ask me about some tort law right now, man, I got you. But fucking regular words,
Too much for
I'm out.
you.
But no, these crazy ideas, these things we know are not true, that we've known that are not true for years, are being legitimized and said are true, and you should believe them. And that is creating a society that fears and hates education, which, guys, without education, we are fucked. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about. I mean, we're pretty fucked as it is.
Yeah.
But we've all seen Idiocracy
Yes.
in most cases. And if you haven't seen Idiocracy,
Go watch it.
Go watch Idiocracy and realize how scary it is.
Yeah. I've only seen it once, though. I need to watch it again.
Go watch it again. Like,
gonna.
watching it then, it was funny. I watched it again recently. It ain't that funny anymore.
Watching it when I did, it wasn't that funny. This was now 9 years ago, maybe 8 years ago.
Yeah, that's about when I first saw it, but I was also much younger too.
Yeah, you're younger than I am. I was in my third year of college at the time.
I was like in my first. Wait.
Weirdly still, maybe it was my fourth year of college. I don't know. It was my third or fourth year of college because I know where I watched it and that I could not have watched it in that place if it was before then.
I'm pretty sure I was still in high school when I saw it, so I might have seen it before you even saw it.
No, well, no, you remember that you're like 3 years younger than I am, right?
Yeah, but if you were in your fourth year
No.
that I was in college.
No, but it might have been my third year. My third year of college would have been your senior year of high school.
Okay, well that works. Anyway,
This
watch-
was a pointless debate.
look, we're giving out all kinds of homework. Go look up. No, we're gonna link to ICP, but
Yes, we're gonna link to
go watch
ICP.
Idiocracy.
Watch Idiocracy.
But
It's terrifying. If you have,
yeah,
I will say, if you have never seen Idiocracy, there have been a lot of memes flying around Facebook in the last 18 months that you don't get.
right.
I will say that. You will understand a piece of Facebook that you have not yet been understanding if you go watch Idiocracy.
And you will also understand why Terry Crews is one of the greatest people ever.
Mm-hmm. I forgot. Yes, of course that's Terry Crews.
President Camacho.
Yes. Shit, I need to watch Idiocracy again.
Oh my God. Idiocracy, great movie. Great movie. Horrifying now, great movie.
Terrifying, yes, but it is amazing. And who is that? Wilson.
Luke Wilson.
Luke Wilson. I always forget what his name is. I know Owen Wilson, but I always forget I always forget Luke's name.
It's Luke Wilson, Maya Rudolph,
oh, that's right, Maya Rudolph. I forgot about her.
Dax Shepard, and Terry
Oh,
Crews.
fuck Dax Shepard. Except I love him.
Yeah.
Shit, what did I just see him in?
Kristen Bell. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Fuck you. Except I can't. You're in New York. Also, I don't really condone violence. No, shoot. I just saw him in a thing. What did I just see him in?
No idea.
I don't remember. He was a minor character, like a one-off character in something. Always Sunny, maybe? I don't think it was Always Sunny. Although I've been watching a lot of Always Sunny.
I don't think I've seen him in an episode of Always Sunny. I would remember that.
I don't think so. But I only said Always Sunny because that's what I've been watching the most of lately. Oh, well.
Another great show.
Also not on Netflix anymore.
Yeah, I
It
know.
went off yesterday, and it makes me sad. That's why I was watching so much of it recently.
It's okay. It's on Hulu now.
Yeah, but now I have to pay for Hulu.
Or you don't.
That's right. I have several people who have offered me their logins for free.
Thank you.
I mean, shush! Don't reveal my potentially illegal, contract violating behavior.
Nah, you good.
Okay.
Fuck them.
Basically.
Anyway, we got on a weird digression there. But
Yes.
yeah. But if we keep in the direction we're going, we're gonna have a world we're already close to Idiocracy, scarily close to Idiocracy.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be worse. I think it's probably gonna be even worse because Idiocracy had a bit of civilization left. People were stupid, but they weren't openly brutal.
Yeah.
We're going towards openly brutal.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a scary time to be
It is.
anything.
Man. But hey, intellectuals on everywhere. Like if you have information, if you have the knowledge and you know what's right, keep up the fight.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to rhyme.
You never mean to rhyme, but you always do.
This is that's my my inner blackness. we just bust out mad rhymes, yo.
Is that how that works?
Yeah, according to some people, apparently. One of my favorite / most awful things growing up, and still now, people going, well, they just got so much soul. White folks going, they just got so much soul. They just do it naturally. What the fuck does that mean? And I know what it means because I went over it and I learned it. It basically means, hey, you're a little more savage than we are, so you got soul.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Yep, you usually do.
But yeah, guys, please keep up the good fight. Educate. If you have something that you think people would know, educate people who don't know. You know, and don't feel bad when people try to belittle you for knowing stuff.
Yeah.
Because people do that shit. And also, so many things in our society, so many wrongs, so many ills in our society exist almost purely because people don't know any better.
Yeah.
They don't know. We talk about consent a lot on this show.
Yes, we do.
A lot of people don't know what consent means. They don't.
That's true.
Even studying consent in torch law class, which I just went over.
Oh, there are so many. There are so many stories. There's so many stories.
Yes, I have learned I have knowledge. I thought I knew what consent was. But there's so many different things that qualify consent, like how consent can be given, how consent can be taken away, what legally qualifies as consent, what legally qualifies as no consent. It's a huge thing. And a lot of people just don't know what consent means. Like a lot of bad things are happening in our society because people just don't know any better.
Yeah.
And which is coupled with the fact that we have a society that tells people you don't need to know any better. Knowing better makes things difficult. Knowing better makes things wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not something we can't solve any problems. We can't solve any problems unless people can learn more, to learn to do better.
Yeah.
So across the board, keep up the good fight, and 2, continue to educate yourself. No matter what anybody says, continue to educate yourself.
Always.
That doesn't mean you need to be going to school. School ain't for everybody, you know. But hell, go on there. You can go read a book.
Yeah.
Go on the internet. Fucking Wikipedia. You know, people don't put a lot of faith in Wikipedia. Wikipedia has a lot of good information on it. Shit you just don't know. I asked one of our listeners to go on Wikipedia and hit the random button.
Oh, I love doing that.
You will learn some shit that you did not know, and that shit in most cases is absolutely true.
Although I will say that hitting the random button on Wikipedia nearly always ends in me learning something about some kind of sports figure that I didn't know about.
There's a lot of sports out there.
I know. It always ends up on some, European soccer player or, some random Canadian dude who plays hockey.
Ronaldo.
Yeah.
They're all named Ronaldo, by the way.
Exactly. Although I do, speaking of educating yourself informally, right? None of what we are saying today about anti-intellectualism and how bad anti-intellectualism is should be interpreted as us policing anybody else's contribution to this discussion, right? I have so many people who I interact with so you, Keem, said that you have been dismissed from discussions for using words that are too big. But I have so many people that I interact with on Facebook friends, people that I know from the local Memphis community who have experienced people dismissing them and dismissing their opinions and dismissing their perspective on really important issues because they don't have formal education, and they speak as
Right.
like they speak in a way that indicates that they don't have any formal college education, right? They use whatever vernacular they grew up with. They don't use the big words that intellectuals use. And so they are also excluded from these conversations for not being intelligent enough, right? To the point, and
Right.
it should be said that the majority of these people that I'm talking about are also Black, right? To where, and I feel like that gets into a whole other thing about just everyone finding any excuse to exclude Black people from any conversation about anything ever, right? Like
Right.
you're going to be excluded if you use words that are too big, and you're going to be excluded if you use words that are not big enough, right? Which is a
Right.
whole thing. But but having an intellectual, having a scientific, having a evidence-based worldview has nothing to do with what level of does not hang on what level of education, what level of formal education you have achieved, right? You can be someone who carefully considers thoughts, who relies on evidence, who can contribute intellectually to a conversation, even though you don't have a degree, right? Even if you like never went to college. I know some people who didn't complete high school who still have this commitment to evidence, this commitment to like contributing intellectually to these conversations, but they get
Right.
dismissed because they don't have pieces of paper that say that they have these things, right? Meanwhile, I know a whole bunch of people who have college degrees who are willing to jump on anything that sounds good to them and dismiss anything that they disagree with, regardless of how much evidence supports it. So,
Right.
sorry, I
Look,
just wanted to jump
I'll-
on that particular bandwagon.
No,
for a second.
that's fine. I'll add to that. I'll add to that in a like more layman terms. I learned in college because I got a little let's go with full of myself at one point. But sometimes, and pardon my French, but hood niggas are some of the most bright, intelligent people you've ever met. They may not sound like it, and hell, what they may be doing in life may not appear. But some of the most insightful, intelligent stuff I've ever heard has come from a dope man.
Yeah.
Just because like your lot in life, maybe you didn't finish high school, and I know some brilliant people who never finished high school. Some people ain't had some people dropped out because honestly there are a lot of super intelligent people who dropped out of high school because they went, I'm getting nothing from this.
Yeah.
A lot of kids who get put into like special education classes are not like, so many of them are not. It's not that they have a learning disability, but they've gotten so far ahead that what they're doing in class, where they're at, just isn't doing anything for them.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens. So, like your lot in life, where you are, has very little bearing on your capacity for knowledge.
Yeah.
And never belittle someone just because they don't sound the same, or they don't use the same words, or they don't come from the same place as you. So I think that's really the end of this section. I will say this. I believe wholeheartedly, one of the things I believe in the most in this world is the human mind's capacity for knowledge. I think we are only limited by the shackles we put on ourselves. And if we wanted to, we can learn everything if we kept going.
Yeah.
So, like I said, just everyone, and keep learning,
Yes.
keep putting it in there. And that is it for this our topic segment. I hope it wasn't too. We're both kind of out of it and
Yeah.
broken minded. So apologize. Anyway, let's move into our sex segment. Bow chicka wow wow. Bow bow bow. With after another short musical bit from Silas Reed.
Whoa. Yeah. I know you get scared when times get hard. I know you get scared when you think that I'm gone. I know you get scared when you're all on your own. I don't know why you get scared, cause you ain't never alone. I'll never leave your side, baby, never for a minute. Just cause you don't see me don't mean I ain't all up in it. You can call on me. I know you get scared when times get hard. You can call on me. Whoa. Yeah. I know you get scared when times get hard. Whoa. You can call on me. I know you get scared when times get hard. You can call on me when you get scared. You can call on me when you think I'm not there. You can call on me any time of the day. You're never an inconvenience, baby. I'm right on my way. I told you in the first verse, I ain't never leaving you. I can be your crutch, girl. Tell me who you're leaning to. Be true. Understand that love is so see-through. Why you hiding, boo? Come here, stop playing peekaboo. Yeah. I know you get scared when times get hard. You can call on me. Whoa. Yeah. I know you get scared when times get hard. Whoa. You can call on me. I know you get scared when times get hard. Whoa. When the world gets low, we get higher. 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 Don't you understand? This is how the world moves. Acquire mass wealth and then you share it with your crew. Acquire mass debt and then your bills is always due. If you ain't got that money, then who the fuck are you? Yo, battle stations, baby, yo, I'm ready for war. I got activations, baby, yo, I'm ready for tour. Yo, I couldn't make this shit up if I wanted to. Truth of the matter is I'm on you. Keep it plain, I don't fuck with you. I ain't mad, I ain't sad, I'm just a man with a bag. I got a pretty face in my lap with her hair tied back. I got plans for expansion, plans for a mansion, plans to dress up all my homies, baby, ain't they handsome? A stable of mighty stallions, chasing gold medallions, Kentucky Derby mindset, everybody place your bet, even grandma write a check, ain't nobody exempt, we making money hand over fist, imagine that shit, imagine that shit, imagine that shit, imagine that shit, imagine that shit.
And welcome back to our sex segment for today. Today's segment should be pretty short because I can wax rhapsodically about my sex. I can't even talk today about my sex toys or tools or whatever it is that I feel like calling them on any given day. But a review is going to be pretty short compared to some of the other stuff that I've talked about. So A few weeks ago, I got a really good coupon at my local sex store and finally
Hold on,
managed
hold
to.
on.
Huh?
Pause. What did you say?
What do you mean?
A what pun?
A coupon?
Uh, that's not a word.
It just says you.
It's
I'm from the
coupon.
frozen wastelands of the north / almost Midwest, and that's exactly what it is. So shut up. Don't judge my regional accent, please. I don't judge your regional accent.
I'm gonna let it pass this time.
Thank you. But anyway, so the point is that I managed to go into my local sex store and pick up something that I have been meaning to acquire at an extremely reasonable price, like 40% off. And I was like, hell yes, this is great. And this thing that I managed to acquire was a magic wand, which, fun fact about the magic wand, used to be the Hitachi magic wand until Hitachi decided that they no longer wanted to be associated with something that had originally quote unquote originally been designed as an actual muscle massager. And then over the years, as it became entrenched in American popular culture as the power, the workhorse of vibrators, Hitachi decided that they no longer wanted to be associated with it because it was boxing them into a corner with regards to their other business ventures that they were trying to put forth. And so they completely discontinued it for a very short amount of time to where there were no magic wands available. It was just not available. And then the company Vibratex, which has been producing vibrators for a number of years, ended up acquiring the rights to it or the patent or whatever it is that they acquired. I don't know. And then went about producing it in exactly the same way that Hitachi had, right? They didn't change anything about it. So that was your fun history lesson for the day. But
also the one chooses this wizard. So when you went into the sex shop, the one actually had to appeal to you.
Well, I mean, it was less more of a case of that and more like if you went into... So since you're making a Harry Potter reference, it was more, given my local sex shop, it was more along the lines of if you went into a wand shop and they only had oak wands with unicorn hair in them, right? Because my local sex shop only had the one kind of wand in stock. But also I wanted to go with the classic, but also I didn't want to go with the classic, right? The actual classic magic wand only has 2 settings, high and higher, and has to be plugged in order for you to use it. Which it has a very long cord, so that's not a problem, unless your bedroom is set up in a really weird way like mine is. But also it's pretty limited in how you can use it. I knew from the get-go, based on the kind of vibrations that I like, which is medium and not... Okay, no, I like pretty intense vibrations. But but I was intimidated by the high and higher settings on the original magic wand. And also, I knew that I wanted to have the flexibility to not have to be plugged in order to use it. So I waited for the good deal and went with the Magic Wand Rechargeable, which is a new innovation. It's a new iteration of this magic wand, also made by Vibratex, looks almost exactly like the original, with a couple of differences. First is that it has 4 speed settings instead of 2. And there have been side-by-side comparisons done. You can go look them up. I will link to one of them that says that on the rechargeable, so if you do a side-by-side comparison of the two, the intensity rate, the intensities of the two of the settings are at the bottom from lowest to highest. You have setting 1 and setting 2 on the rechargeable, and then setting 1 on the original and then setting 3 on the rechargeable, and then setting 2 on the original, and then setting 4 on the rechargeable. So like the first 2 settings on the rechargeable are lower than the lowest setting on the original, is what I was sort of getting at. Also, the rechargeable, in addition to having 4 intensity settings instead of 2, also has 4 pattern settings. So you can use patterns, which is actually less of a big deal for me, because literally the only pattern that I have ever enjoyed to any significant degree when it comes to my vibrators is the wave pattern, where it's like it just gets more intense, and then it gradually increases and decreases intensity in a wave pattern, right? That's the only pattern that I have ever really enjoyed in any of my vibrators. And thankfully, the Magic Wand Rechargeable has that pattern. It also has several others that I have not spent any length of time exploring on account of I don't care. But some people do. That's great. The other thing that the Magic Wand Rechargeable has that the original does not is that the original Magic Wand has the head of it. I'm sure if you have not yet Googled, if you don't know what a magic wand looks like and have not yet Googled it, probably go ahead and do that so that you know what I'm talking about. But the head of the Magic Wand original is a porous material. I'm going to go ahead and Google that really quick so that I don't screw up which one it is. But it has a porous material, so you can clean it, but it can't be completely sanitized, which means that if you are planning, you can buy replacement heads for it. So if it gets gross, you can I don't remember. You can replace that material. But if you are planning on using it with more than one person, you have to put a condom over it, which you can do. It's totally a thing that can happen. You can make it happen. But it can't be, the head of it can't be sanitized, right? You, in order to avoid the possibility of passing on, any sort of germs or STDs or anything else or whatever, it needs to be, you need to use a condom on it. Whereas with the rechargeable, the head of it is made of silicone, which using bleach, you can sanitize. And so you can, after you sanitize it properly, you can use it from one person to another without risk of transmitting anything that you don't want to transmit, right? Whether that's STDs or just like yeast infections or any other concern that you have swapping fluids from one person to another. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. So yeah, those are the concerns, and those are why I ended up going with the with the rechargeable over the original, right? In addition to the rechargeable, it's obviously rechargeable. It does not need to be plugged in order to use it. You have that flexibility. You can plug it in, recharge it. And then with the rechargeable, it's great because if it turns out that if you use it until it dies, you can just plug it in. Unlike most vibrators can only operate while they're not charging. But with the rechargeable, if it dies on you, you can just plug it in and keep going. Which is, I have not had an opportunity yet with mine to test that function, but it's nice. It's nice. Yeah, that's how I got there. Sorry, I'm looking up the Magic Wand website and I got distracted. Surprise.
People getting distracted during the sex segment on websites is kind of what happens.
Yeah. Ooh, fun fact. I just learned that the Magic Wand Original is registered with the FDA as a medical device.
It's actually called the Elder Wand. So I'm sorry.
Dead air. Lol. All right. With that being said, I will say I have had my magic wand for a few weeks now, and it lives up to its reputation with regards to intensity. I have finally gotten to a point after using it like a dozen times, have finally gotten to a point where I can like tolerate it. The first couple of times I was like, wow, this is way too much. To the point where like I had to use it through cloth, right? I couldn't use it directly on my body. It was way too much. But I'm getting to where now I've figured out where it needs to be put on my body in order to get the maximum amount of like pleasure versus just holy shit, this is way too fucking intense. Which it was a challenge. It was a challenge. It is very, very intense. But I'm getting to the point where I can kind of enjoy it. Or I can enjoy it. I can more than kind of enjoy it. But it was a lot. And I'm finding that even though I have found a place, like I found how to use it on myself in a way that actually is really pleasurable, I still prefer something a little less broad. Like the head of this magic wand is nearly 2.5 inches in diameter. So it doesn't matter where you put it on your body. You're vibrating a whole lot of area to where like that's just how it is. There's no way of getting around it. It doesn't matter how carefully you touch it to your body. Like it's just going to cover lots of your skin.
Right.
And a lot of people, like one of the reasons that I got it is because a lot of people are really, really into that. And like a lot of the bloggers that I follow were like, I didn't even realize that I was missing this until I tried it. And then it was like a revelation and it was incredible and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to try it. Also because a lot of the people, I know a lot of people in my personal life, some of whom I do or want to have sex with, who are like, yeah, you should totally pick one of those up. And I'm like, all right, I will do that. But one of the reasons that I went ahead and picked it up is because so many of the bloggers that I follow were like, yeah, this was amazing. I didn't realize that I was missing it until I tried it, et cetera, et cetera. And so I'm glad that I picked it up, especially since I got a good deal on it. But I am finding that for what I want in a vibrator, I want something that covers less area. All right. I want something that's a little bit more pinpoint. It's a little bit more specific. It covers less area when I'm using it. Even when I'm like masturbating myself, right? Like with no partners anywhere near me, right? I would rather have something that's a little more pinpoint for day-to-day stuff, which is completely personal preference, right? Like I'm not here to tell you that the magic wand is bad and that bullet vibes are better. I personally enjoy bullet vibes more because that's the way my body works, whatever. But I'm really, really glad that I picked it up. So there's that.
All right.
Questions, concerns?
I mean, not for me personally.
I know, right? But yeah, it is a little bit pricey, I will say, especially the rechargeable. So the rechargeable is quite a lot more expensive than the original. Most places have it for about $150, give or take $15 or $20, depending on where you go. I have never seen it regular price for less than $120, I will say. Whereas the rechargeable usually is hanging out somewhere between $75 and $90, depending on where you go. So it is quite a bit less expensive than the rechargeable. But keep your eyes peeled for it, because it's handy. It's handy to have, right? If you have the money in your budget and you're curious about it, or you know a partner who wants it, which is one of the reasons that I picked it up, or if it's something that's accessible to you, check it out. Also, if you're interested in trying out broader vibration without dropping the money on a rechargeable, you can look into other wand style vibrators. Like, there's a bunch of them out there. Some of them are better than others. There are whole blog posts and websites dedicated to comparing one to the other. A lot of the really high quality ones are still very expensive. Like, I know there's Doxy has a magic wand that's up there in price with the magic wand rechargeable. There's a few others that are up there. But then Vibratex, which is the company now that owns the magic wand, has several other wand style vibrators that are at a lower price point. Even some that are battery operated, you use AA batteries in them, which lowers the price point, and the quality of vibration is going to be a little different between a replaceable battery version versus a rechargeable version. But if you're interested in trying out whether or not that broad vibration sensation is going to work for you, that could be a way to test that out at a much lower price point, right? Where you're looking at $40, $45, $50, $60 instead of $80, $90 for a Magic Wand Original, or upwards of $120, $130 for a rechargeable. There's also there's a dozen companies anymore that have wand style vibrators, some of which are better than others. So if you have particular tastes in what you like in a vibrator already, you might look into seeing how other sex toy reviewers rank these wand vibrators based on some of them do based on quality of vibration. So if you know that you like really, I don't know, really rumbly or really whatever, you can look into which of those wand vibrators is most likely to be something that you would be into if you're not, married to the idea of one or the other. Like I said, one of the reasons that I got the Magic Wand rechargeable over any of the others is because my local sex store only had the original and the rechargeable in stock, and as opposed to any other of the wand vibrators. And I got a really, really, really good coupon on it. See there?
Oh, you correct.
I know, because you judged me the first time.
That's what I do, baby.
Shut up. In any case, I got a really good deal on it, and that was the one that I had my eye on anyway. So, check them out. They're intense. Wand style vibrators, they're intense, but I am enjoying mine. So,
well, there you guys go check it out. Links will be up, of course. Guys, thank you for having us, listening to us this week. It's the holiday season yet again, so happy holidays to all the people out there who are celebrating something, and those who are not. I think Hanukkah starts soon.
I don't even know anymore.
I think Hanukkah starts on the 12th, so happy Hanukkah if you catch this in between time. Like I said, links will be in the description. Special thank you to Silas Reed for finding us music. Shout out to you, man.
Yay.
Love you. Trying to think of anything else. Oh, if you'd like us to be on the show, as always, let us know. If you would like us to feature your music, let us know. It's going to be hectic the next couple of weeks because of the holidays and exams, and I may lose more and more sanity each week. But just as something to watch out for. If you ever want to watch somebody lose their grip on reality, listen to it anyway. You'll get a nice adventure here. I think that is all. So this has been King and Esme, and we are out.
But there are these things that matter, and they really fucking matter. There's like 4 things that matter, and they really fucking matter. I mean, objectively, I mean, you should care, especially you, if you thought about it for 5 fucking minutes.